Hey guys, it's good to see everyone again. I finally returned to the Dragon Ball Super chapter reviews. I took a full year off from the manga because they went in a direction that didn't really interest me after the Granola arc ended. And since it has been a full year, let me just quickly go over what has happened in the last arcs of Dragon Ball Super before we're coming into this new arcs chapter that's starting with 101. So after the Granola arc ended with Black Frieza showing up and schooling everyone, and I'll get more into Black Frieza later on in this video because he's brought up again. Instead of working off of that huge momentum that they had, they decided to go in an opposite direction and make the manga nigh unreadable. I don't mean to be harsh when I say that, but that's just genuinely how I feel about the chapters following the Black Frieza stuff, because it decided to focus on teen Goten and Trunks, their shenanigans in high school, and them moonlighting as the superheroes by the name of Saiyaman X1 and X2. This stuff didn't interest me at all, and I just didn't have it in me to talk about it, let alone even fully read these chapters at the time. But after this short little mini arc is over, it goes into a manga adaptation of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie. The way that the manga adapts the movie is, I guess you could consider it like a director's cut of what the movie could be. The manga includes basically more Krillin stuff, I guess, because it shows in the manga that Krillin as a cop is involved in this investigation following Hito and the Red Ribbon Army stuff, and it all connects at the end, as to where the movie kind of just excludes all of that stuff. But let me just quickly go over the plot of the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie, as well as like what happened in the previous manga arc. So it turns out that the commander of the Red Ribbon Army, Red, had a son by the name of Magenta. And this guy Magenta was able to make the Red Ribbon Pharmaceutical Company from the ashes of the Red Ribbon Army. And for some reason, he's not content with that, and he wants to like take over the world again using might. Another descendant is revealed as well. And that's because Dr. Gero, the guy who made the androids, has a grandson now. Conveniently, because he had another son aside from Android 16. This son, I guess, died along with his wife, but before they died, they gave birth to Dr. Hito, who is the grandson of Dr. Gero. And also turns out that he has even more of a genius potential and a better understanding of making androids than even Dr. Gero did. So Magenta finds out where Hito is, and then he convinces him to join the Red Ribbon Army and make new androids for him, along with a new version of Cell. He does this by tricking him kind of into believing that Goku and the Z Fighters are like the evil force that's trying to take down the world along with Capsule Corp. Hito winds up making Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, who are pretty strong androids. I don't really know how strong they are on the power scale. It's really hard to tell how strong anyone is in the Dragon Ball Super superhero movie because it's so self-contained. But he also winds up making this Cell Max thing, which is like a gigantic version of Imperfect Cell, but way more powerful. So they eventually get the attention of Piccolo and Gohan because, you know, they're trying to get them out of the picture so they can take over the world. Speaking of Piccolo and Gohan, they both get power-ups in this arc as well. Piccolo, with the help of Dende, powers up Shenron and makes a wish asking Shenron to unlock his full potential, or his hidden potential, the way that Guru used to do back on Namek. We saw that he did that to Gohan during the Namek arc. So Shenron does that for Piccolo, but he says he also throws in a little something extra for him. So at base, it makes Piccolo stronger and also turns him a lighter shade of green. But the little extra that he threw in there was this new transformation power-up that Piccolo can do, which he calls Orange Piccolo. Now, the other power-up that we see is Gohan, because at the end of the arc, when everyone is fighting Cell Max, he's able to go through a similar breakthrough that he did when Cell crushed Android 16's head. But in this instance, it's just Cell Max beating up Piccolo, not even killing him. But that causes Gohan to finally unleash his true potential. Yeah, for real this time. I know that we thought his true potential was unlocked during the Buu arc when he became Ultimate Gohan, but no, that wasn't it. It's for real this time, guys. And out of nowhere, with hardly any build-up other than just Piccolo saying that he has the potential to become the strongest, unlocks this new form known as Beast Gohan. And he is like beyond strong. And he special beam cannons Cell Max's head. That's the end of the fight. Dr. Dr. Hito is forgiven and is given a job by Bulma at Capsule Corp along with Gamma 1. Gamma 2 winds up sacrificing himself to damage Cell Max. And that brings us into chapter 101, which is directly continuing from the end of Dragon Ball Super Superhero, where we see Magenta's right-hand man, Carmine, was able to get away. And he's in the car with, I think he's calling him Soldier 15, the guy that we saw in the superhero movie with Piccolo. They're talking about how it's going to be hard to restart the Red Ribbon Army because, you know, Gohan is out there with the rest of the Z fighters and that they need to like take them out before they can do that. And it's like, why? Just let this stuff go. And in order to do that, they're going to have to get someone strong enough to be able to take them out. And conveniently, they come across Goten and Trunks doing their whole Saiyaman X1 and X2 superhero stuff, taking out some robbers. And they quickly convince them to just come and beat up this random person for them. Like, Goten and Trunks in this series are, dare I say, even lower IQ than Goku. Like, they trick them the way that you would like a 5-year-old, essentially. So now they have Goten and Trunks, and they're trying to bring them to take out Gohan so that they can restart the Red Ribbon Army. But we're finally cutting away from this stuff, and we're coming to the stuff that we actually want to see, because now we're coming to Vegeta rematching Broly. So this is continuing off of the side storyline that we got in the superhero movie / arc, where Goku, Vegeta, and Broly were training on Beerus's planet. And this is why they weren't around for all the Cell Max stuff. And originally it was supposed to be a triple threat match between Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, but considering that Broly is so mentally unstable, they decided to do it one at a time, because Broly still needs a lot of training before he can fully let himself go and not become like the raging Hulk beast that he was in the Broly movie. So Goku fights Vegeta in a battle that has special stipulations to it set by Whis, to where they can't transform and they can't use world-ending ki blasts. And it essentially becomes a war of attrition where Vegeta actually defeats Goku cleanly. So I guess after they recover and everything, Vegeta moves on to fight Broly now. And in this match, Vegeta is one step ahead of Broly. And Vegeta is kind of like egging Broly on. He's like, "Are you ready to snap, Broly?" And he winds up taking a punch from Broly head on, and he just eats it. And he's like, "Anger isn't a bad thing. Rage is the source of a Saiyan's power, in fact. However, your issue is that you lose yourself to it." So yeah, that's like the balancing act of Broly going forward here. Broly is ostensibly on the same level of Goku and Vegeta. I mean, maybe not at their max power. It really remains to be seen, to be honest. But Broly can, in theory, get to that level. But when he does, he loses himself and he becomes, you know, Hulk Broly. So the whole thing going forward here is having Broly maintain his composure, not having like a mental episode, and being able to control that green form that he has. Legendary Super Saiyan form. I don't even know what the community calls it, but you know what I'm talking about. And Vegeta goes Super Saiyan and continues to fight Broly while he keeps talking to him, while he thinks that he's helping Broly by doing this, but I guess in series that he is, but in reality this really wouldn't help him, and I'll get more into that, because he's like, "What's the matter? You can't wield your full might out of fear that you'll snap?" And it's like, yeah, that's the whole thing here. But Whis seems to think that Broly is progressing, and as we see, he is. Like, he is able to take some real attrition from Vegeta here without losing himself. I mean, he's not pushed to the brink of death, of course, but this is an improvement from what we've seen from Broly previously. So after another little scuffle here in a pretty cool sequence, Vegeta's like, "To battle without losing yourself is an achievement, but you seem to be unable to unleash your true might. That won't do." And Broly's like, "Then what do I do then?" And Vegeta's like, "Find the answer yourself." And that's like terrible coaching here. It's like, I don't know, figure it out yourself. And it's like, that's not how you really help somebody with mental health issues the way that Broly has. I mean, I don't expect him to have therapy here because Japanese people aren't really that keen on that stuff, so I can't expect Toriyama or whoever's currently writing this arc, Toyotaro, I don't know, to go along with that stuff. It's more so like, you know, figure it out yourself, like just become mentally stronger, you know, like a boomer type of mentality going forward here. You should get Broly in some therapy here and figure out some mental health exercises. You know, not giving him more CTE and telling him to figure it out himself is really going to be the answer here, but I guess in story it eventually will be. But once they come to the end of, I guess you could say, this first round, Lemmo and Chile show up, and Lemmo gives them some water and whatnot, but then Chile's like, you know, Frieza could show up at any minute. What then? That new black form of his is no joke, right? And it's like, yeah, that is very true. Frieza is maybe number one in the verse at this point, barring Whis, of course. We don't really have to include Whis and the Angels and the rest of the hierarchy in the equation of power because they're at like a nigh unattainable level at this point. So we're mainly regulating to the mortals and the God of Destruction. Now, we don't know how strong Frieza truly is because it really comes down to if you're stronger than Beerus or not. On paper, maybe Frieza is stronger than Beerus or as strong as him. It seems like the power of Beerus is a goalpost that just keeps getting moved because at the beginning of Super, it seemed like we knew how strong he was, but as it keeps going and more characters keep getting introduced, Beerus has to get stronger so that he is still an end goal for Goku to defeat, I suppose, or something like that. Who really knows what the plan is in the end here? But Frieza trained in some room of spirit and time for the equivalent of 10 years, which I guess in real time would have been 10 days. And we knew that Frieza has insane potential, like way more potential than the Saiyans do for some reason. Because all he had to do was train for like a couple weeks or something, and then he became golden form, which was able to be on par with blue. But now he has black, which seemingly has surpassed Mastered Ultra Instinct, even the new Ultra Instinct level that Goku attained against Gas in the previous chapter. So they have to get strong enough to be able to fight against Black Frieza here, of course. And I really do like that Black Frieza is being brought up here in the beginning of this new arc, because I guess he will show up at some point, but I don't know if he's going to be the big bad of this arc. I think it's a little too soon to do that. Maybe let's go through this arc and then maybe Black Frieza could come in the next arc or something and be like the big bad that needs to be defeated possibly. Also, Frieza needs to recruit more members because I don't think it would be that great if Frieza individually is just a threat for everybody to fight. Like, these type of series really thrive when there's really strong underlings. So hopefully Frieza is recruiting a new force of people who are on the level of like Goku, Vegeta, and Broly, you know, and Gohan, of course. Because we'll get to Gohan, but I like another thing that Beerus says here after they're talking about Frieza surpassing them. He's like, so keep plugging away with that training, you know, to get stronger so that they can fight Frieza. And he's like, once you're stronger than me, I'll nominate you as the next God of Destruction. And Goku's like I told you before, that job's not for me. And then Beerus kind of just ignores it. And it's like, yeah, we know at this point Goku and Vegeta don't want to be the successors to Beerus as the God of Destructions. And it makes me wonder, like, is it going to be Broly? Like, will Broly be the next God of Destruction after Beerus retires? Because Broly seems to be a good candidate for that, right? I think that would be pretty cool. But then after this, they find out about all the Cell Max stuff that happened while they were training, and that's why they weren't able to realize what was going on, because they were in the battle and Beerus was sleeping and eating ice cream and all this stuff. And they find out that Cell Max was defeated by Gohan and Piccolo. And Bulma says that Gohan is probably even stronger than both Vegeta and Goku at this point. And it seems like that is probably true. Like, that's the hard narrative being pushed after this. Like, Gohan is now the strongest. And it's like, what does that even mean anymore? Because in the previous arc, we saw that Granola made a wish that made him the quote-unquote strongest in the universe. And then after that, there was a wish for Gas to be the then strongest in the universe after that. So now he was the strongest in the universe. But now Frieza came out, and now he's the strongest in the universe. But now Gohan Beast is the thing, and now he might be the strongest in the universe. It's like, where does Beerus fall into this? And I don't really know. Maybe those questions will be answered in the following chapters after this, but we'll just say for right now, there is a hard top 5 or top 6 in the universe of Dragon Ball. We've got Frieza, Beerus, Gohan, Goku, Vegeta, and Broly. At any point, they could all be the strongest, aside from Vegeta, because we know how Toriyama isn't going to give him his day, but, you know, it's between them, more or less. It's really up to you to decide who is the strongest at this point, but if you really want to narrow it down, you could say it's between Frieza, Gohan, and Beerus, I guess, at least this point in time. But anyway, we come back to Carmine with Trunks and Goten going to attempt to take out Gohan, and Carmine just gets out of the car and starts shooting this at Gohan's at, you know, to get him to like come out. And Gohan sees that it's Carmine, of course, because, you know, he saw in the previous movie that those are the guys that abducted Pan. It's like, I'm not gonna let you guys do that again. And he immediately goes into beast form. And once he does this, it reverberates so much that Goku and Vegeta feel it from Beerus's planet, and they're like, holy crap. And before Gohan just accidentally vaporizes Carmine here, he realizes that Goten and Trunks are in the car. And they're like, what are you guys doing? You know, explain everything now. And then he powers down. And before they're able to say anything, Goku instantaneous movements to where they are. And in the final page of the chapter, he's like, hey guys, it's been a long time. So, really exciting stuff going forward here. I think in this next chapter, we might get to see Goku take on Beast Gohan. You know, just as like a sparring match, because Goku is, of course, interested in fighting strong people, you know, and especially his freaking son. And that will give us more insight into like the power scale of the current meta of Dragon Ball Super at this point, which I'm really looking forward to. So let me know what you think about this in the comments, guys. And if you liked the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.